Now, come the new year, it will be an offence for farmers in Wales to kill or take a magpie. The change in the rules has been introduced after the bird moved onto the amber list of endangered birds, meaning the population has moderately declined and they're in an unfavourable conservation status. Natural Resources Wales says farmers who need to control magpies can apply for a specific licence. But the Countryside Alliance has criticised the decision, saying NRW has bowed to campaigners' pressure and this will inevitably mean damage to crops and livestock. Rachel Evans is its director for Wales.
Well, a magpie will peck into the back of a sheep, for example, into the flesh, and that will then expose that area, which will make it prone to infection and disease. And the magpie will continue to predate on whatever it chooses to predate on, whether that is an animal or a vegetable patch or the fruit, because it's quite habitual.
How routinely would farmers kill a magpie?
It just all depends on the situation and when the problem occurs. So it's not something that we'd actually find yourself doing by routine, but as and when the need arises. And of course, when that need does arise, if you're talking about livestock in particular, then that need is urgent and it becomes a welfare issue.
Natural Resources Wales, though, says that the population is declining, so this is a sensible thing to do. They are now on the amber list.
Well, the Countryside Alliance does not see the removal of magpie from GL001 as justifiable in terms of the underlying evidence and the reasoning and methodology that NRW have provided.
Just to explain, the magpie has been taken off the general licence, which gives people permission to control a few different types of birds.
That's right. So it's been taken off general licence number 1, which is used for the purpose of preventing serious damage or spread of disease to livestock feed, crops, vegetables and fruit. If you want to now control the magpie, you would need a specific licence. So you'd have to make an application to NRW, which would take up to 40 days. You have to demonstrate all other methods to rid yourself of the problem have already been tried and tested by you. And you also have to demonstrate a need. Now, by the time you've gone to do all that, then the damage that the magpie has created is greater. You find yourself in a position then where you should have been doing something to stop the predation, whether that's on livestock or vegetables and so on, when in fact you can't because your hands are tied because they've taken it off general licence number 1.
But NRW will say, hang on, this is a bird with the population is now in decline. You can, if you have a problem, apply for a licence, but generally speaking, we have to protect them.
Yeah, so we recognise that there is this decline, but we believe that there is insufficient evidence that the current control of magpies under general licence number 1 has had a detrimental impact on their population status. And also the population decline statistic must be understood within the context of a decrease in the magpie population across the UK as a whole, which was just 4% between 1995 and 2020. And in addition to this small decrease in population has come from an all-time high level.
Where do you fear that this will leave farmers next year?
It's just an extra burden, isn't it? It's just an extra problem. It's just another issue that's been brought to the fore that hasn't really been an issue until NRW are put under pressure by those opposed to killing birds in the first place, I would say, to be particularly honest here.
Hang on, you're saying Natural Resources Wales have done this because they're under pressure from people who don't like shooting?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Natural Resources Wales say that's not the case. They're doing this because the magpie has gone into decline. And this is their response to that.
But as I said, we don't feel that they have sufficient evidence. They're meant to be an evidence-based organisation and an at-arm's length body to Welsh Government, but we don't believe that in this case they have sufficient evidence to bring in the measure to remove the magpie from general licence number 1.
Rachel Evans from the Countryside Alliance.